Third World in Our Backyard by Melissa Mendoza. Are we so blind and naive that it becomes the norm to see the third world in our backyard? Don't we see the many street peddlers in all ages? The recession is forcing many of us to open our eyes. Many today consider ourselves to be fortunate if we have a job or even own a home. I realize that the third world has been creeping in our backyards for many, many years. Did I need to do something about it? Did I want to do something about it? Of course. But it's in many, many baby steps that we can do these things. The American giant was no longer keeping up with the causes and consequences of the recession. I'm not proud to admit that I was also naive to homelessness. I saw an 8-year-old child at the corner of 610 and Kirby peddling for food. I rolled down my car window and asked if he would like a meal and a refreshment. He was so excited that someone actually took a notice of him standing at that corner in 100-degree weather. I asked if he would like a ride to the place, which was McDonald's or Burger King, and he chose McDonald's. So he refused to get in the car with me, which I don't blame him. I'm a complete stranger. So I drove down maybe less than a block and met him at McDonald's. And as I waited for him outside, I saw him walk up, and I got out of my car and gave him a big smile. And as he opened the door, he was such a gentleman. I was just impressed at how polite and kind this child was. And this child's name is Kyle. Kyle opened the door, and I said, "Thank you so much for opening this door for me." And he said, "You're welcome. It was my pleasure." We walk inside, and I said to him, "Please order anything on the menu." And he directs his view to the value menu, and ordered a Happy Meal and a bottle of water. And I smiled and decided to go ahead and order a Happy Meal as well, to be at his equal level and playing field. So we ordered a meal, we take a seat, and we talked for many, many, many hours. I was so amazed on how sweet and kind, considerate, and well-mannered that he was. He was 8 years old, and here's his story. Unfortunately, Kyle, like many others, his family was impacted by the financial crisis that we have had here in the U.S. His father was a banker, and his mother was a stay-at-home mom. An average family, and living day by day, not check by check, but living day by day. And unfortunately, his father couldn't find a job here, so he moves away and moves to a different state. They've lost touch with him. His mom, with no experience, have been the homeless shelter that they stay in. There are several programs that they have helped with. They're helping her. So they are helping her with completing her resume, and sending her to a Dress Success program. They are also introducing her to professionals. But Kyle is very blessed. He says that he understands that this is where the economy is, and he's willing to do what he needs to take to contribute. So that's what his contributing to his mom. He says that, yes, they stay in a homeless shelter. Yes, he's grateful and thankful. But with all the transients coming in and out, doesn't leave much food for him and his mom. So here is a picture of Kyle. And I wanted to point to you that I decided to focus on homeless. And here's a chart, and I was I wanted to explain to you that I wanted to focus on 3 states and the 3 largest states. So the 3 largest states are California, Texas, and New York. And did you know that these 3 largest states by the census is California has 33,671,648,000 people. Texas has a population of 20,851,820,000 people. New York has a population of 18,976,457 people. California alone has 2,013,000 homeless children, which is on this chart. If you notice over here, it's in the blue, and that consists of 48,000. That consists of 48% of population of children. Texas has 1.7 million homeless children, which is orange. New York is red, and New York has 901,000 homeless children. I think that I was focusing on the homeless because I think we're losing sight of where things are. So homeless demographics are of youth 18 years old. There's 39% of homeless population. Ages of 5 make up 42%. The ethnicities of the homeless are 50% are African American, 35% are Caucasian, and 12% are Hispanic, and then 3% are other. Risk for homeless are structural changes in housing markets, unemployment, personal problems, which are parents with substance abuse, natural disasters, which would be considered Hurricane Katrina and Rita, which are forces of active God, man-made events, which is the financial crisis of the Great Recession, are also causes. And then I wanted to go over a dam collapse in West Virginia, which created a black-white wastewater rush that caused 4,000 people to go homeless. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the housing and financial market. Conclusion. I chose this subject because Kyle impacted me in a way that I can't ever explain in words. And we look at developing countries, but have you ever considered developing people consider helping in a backyard? Are we ignoring the faces of our homeless children? They aren't animals roaming around the streets. They are brothers, sisters, and sons and daughters. Please understand, homelessness is a means of no shelter as well as doubling up. Please join me in the campaign to protect and ensure that children will have their own home, and give a voice to homeless children and their families by increasing awareness. And thank you.